Salaam nerds? It's your boy Neebs, aka Watch with Neebs, and unfortunately, Jazz is still not with us. He's missed 3 in a row. As we mentioned earlier, Jazz had a pet that passed away, and it was a little tragic for him. So he is away, and then he also has some things and obligations like weddings and stuff like that to attend. So it's been a lot for Jazz. So wish him well. He should be back soon. I'm thinking next week Jazz will return, and then we'll talk about it. I know he will not miss when we start going through One Piece because he is a crazy One Piece fan. So we're not doing any One Piece until he gets back, but that'll be the next thing. But I do want to introduce you. Some guys have been on our show the last few couple of weeks. Ruzzy, welcome back. I hear you're stranded in DC at the moment.
Yeah, there's something like that. We had a little, I don't know, active shooter, crazy person situation in DC, and so there was a lockdown, shelter in place madness. So yeah, I've been bopping around DC for a bit. So,
Wow,
but safe and well.
the dedication that you have to like bunker down in a like college room to kind of like go on our show, it's wild to me, man. Are you sure they're not like two like Jedis after you, Cincinnati,
Yeah,
like come here looking
yeah,
for you with orange
they
lightsabers?
might,
I don't
they
know. They
might. Yeah,
might.
it'd be
They
a
might.
green lightsaber, right? Because
Yeah.
Pakistan, right?
Right. Oh my God. Oh God.
Not
Uh,
Jedi. It's Pakistani.
yeah. Listen. Well, we hope you stay safe. If anything happens, it'll be live on air, and I don't know if there's anything we could do, but maybe we can call for help. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Why don't you ask the shooter if he's a Star Wars fan? Maybe he'll just like lay his arms down and decide to come on the podcast with us.
That would be that would be something else.
He would
Disarm him
change.
with nerdom.
Like, you know what, man? I have rethought my my idea of shooting people. I think I'm just gonna sit down here and talk Star Wars with you guys.
It's
That would be.
rethought life. Star Wars
Oh
brings
my
the world
God.
together.
That's right. And also Adome, welcome back. You've been on a few episodes now. We're glad to have you, man. How are you?
Thanks, I'm doing well, and I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt today. So if you can see here on my chest here, I have this I Know shirt that my sister-in-law made for me and my wife. My wife has another one, and it's Leia, and hers says "I love you."
Oh, that's so good.
Love it.
Yeah, so but I'm always wearing this shirt. My wife never wears her other shirt, and I'm like, "What, you trying to tell me something? What's going on here?"
That's so cute. I love it. I love it. I know people make wedding rings like that, where it says "I love you" and the other one says "I know." There's definitely people who do that. Like they engrave it onto their wedding rings, which is cool.
It's
Um,
next level.
Yeah, I would totally do that. That's so awesome. We got some people in the comments. Michael, MTF. We actually talked a lot about you this week because I hung out with your boy Carlos, and I was in Chicago, and Carlos picked me up and took me out for burgers, and we were talking about you. So it was really, really cool. April's on here too. Shout out to April. So that's really awesome. All right, let's get into this episode. Rafi just went dark. Don't scare us like that, man. Don't
No,
scare us.
yeah.
All right. Don't
I
scare
guess
us
I
like
can't do
that.
two things at once. I guess
Sanity
I can't
check. Sanity check. Jeez.
chat. I can't chat with the followers.
Yeah. Normally we wouldn't mind, but like right now you're under the threat
That's
level.
probably
so
not a good. Yeah.
we don't want to. We want to make sure you're okay.
Don't want me to get Ezra'd.
Yeah. What if you got caught through the world between worlds and you got pulled?
Could happen.
Oh
Who
man.
would you see and where would you be? That's a good question.
Oh,
way.
let's start that.
Yeah.
Who would you be and where would you? Wait. Where would you be and what would you see? That'd be crazy.
I would be meeting Neebs for the first time.
Wait, we haven't met yet?
In
Dude,
person, at least.
I just realized we haven't
I
met
think
yet.
there were so many times that I think we had tried to meet at a couple cons, and then
Yeah.
I couldn't go, and then I can't go this year. Surprise, spoiler alert. But yeah, I mean, I think we've been trying to link up, and yeah, but I feel like you're my brother, and I've known you for some time. So
This comment is
stream
so
between
funny.
Two
streams.
streams.
This
Yeah, you're gonna have to
stream-
tell me
Michael,
the
yeah.
comments. I can't read them because then I'm gonna just scare people if I
Oh.
just go.
No, all good. We'll share them for you. Yes. All right. Let's get started with this episode because this might be one of my favorite episodes. Like I feel like sometimes when it comes to Star Wars, I feel spoiled, and this is one of those episodes where I just feel spoiled because we got so much. And let's just talk about the elephant in the room, Hayden. just showed up out of nowhere. I did not expect that. It made me feel a certain type of way. I was literally like in tears. I'm just like, is this happening? Is it for real? Like, God, I love Star Wars. I felt very spoiled by this episode. What are your thoughts, Rezi?
As soon as I heard Snips, I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
he's coming! He's coming! He's coming!" But what version are we going to see?
ooh, that will
And
be the
so
question.
I and then they play the Vader music at the end. My
Yes.
God, it's just like, yeah. I mean, I do wonder, like, would if you see another version, like of it, like an either alternate reality or someone through a different point in time, will they know what their fate is later on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
So
do they forget? Do they forget when they leave? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
So
It's so many mysteries, but that was a shock. I mean, like, I was edge of my seat, jaw dropped. Like, is this happening? I rewound. I was like, wait, I need to rehear the dialogue to
yeah.
hear it all. And it was something, it was special. It was very special. So I didn't know how I would feel, but then when I saw it, I was like, this feels really good.
Yeah. So I always watch with closed caption on because
Same.
when I was a little
We're old
fob,
and brown.
yeah, we're all with Brown. Also, when I was a little fob, I didn't know English that well, so it helped me learn English. So I just got used to it. But yes, I saw the closed caption says snips, and I was like, why did it say that?
Yep.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And then, oh my god, it just happened. Michael said he predicted that he would show, but he thought it was just going to be a flashback. He had no idea it was going to be like this. Yeah, I definitely agree. Adom, what are your thoughts?
So, three things for me. So, first of all, the version of Anakin that we see is the version that it's the last time Ahsoka saw him in person before he was Vader.
True.
So, longer hair, the Clone Wars. And second thing is, if you look very closely, it was hard to tell exactly what lightsaber he had on his hip. It definitely was not the lightsaber that was passed down to Luke and then to Rey. So I'm very interested to know kind of what version of Anakin this is. And then thirdly, my question is like, what the hell is he doing there? Like, did he get pulled into some timeline that we're not aware of? Or like, I don't know what to think about this. It's interesting. So the conversation that they're going to have, because the dialogue to your point was, I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I mean, is he a version of himself that's been dead, or is he like a Force Ghost version of him that's kind of in between, or what's going on there? Because in Rebels, where they showed us the World Between Worlds, we had Ezra and Ahsoka running back and forth, and Ezra was very tempted to save Kanan, and Ahsoka essentially told him, no, you can't mess with the timeline at all. So there are a lot of people talking about how Star Wars is going to do a multiverse, but I'm pretty sure Rebels put it to rest that, like, we're not going to mess with timelines, because if they would have, Kanan would have saved Ezra.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to do timelines. I don't think they're going to do multiverse. That seems a little wild. Also, why do they need to when they have things like Star Wars Vision where they can do whatever they want and not
Right.
have to worry about it being canon or not, right? So I feel like there's really no need for it. The other thing people were saying was because they're like, oh, because they're the different galaxy, they might do multiverse. That's not how time works. Having a different galaxy does not make a multiverse. that's completely different.
And the
That's like
first line of every Star Wars thing is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Like, you can get to
Exactly.
another one,
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
what if they're in our galaxy? Oh, Ezra's on Earth, bro.
We got some problems then.
I think we would notice a big blue guy. Wait, what if he's part of the Blue Man group? What if that's where? What if? What if
Thrawn's been hiding the whole time.
Thrawn's been part of the Blue Man group this whole time and we didn't notice?
That makes sense. That's why they're so efficient.
I know. He's in Vegas, man. He's just
Yes.
making money and just
Making
saving to
money.
make a Death Star in
Exactly.
Vegas. What do you think the Lux building is? You know that light that shines up on the Lux building? Oh, Thrawn,
Oh,
baby.
yeah. It's Thrawn.
Yo, the theories. No, all right, man. Let's go in and talk about this episode. I want to get Rezi out of here so he can get home safely. All right. We talk. The episode starts off with the ship. They're trying to fix it, and as we see Hu Young trying to fix the ship, there is a random evil robot just like staring at him from afar. And I was like, "Are we getting a robot versus a robot fight?" I don't know. I was really hoping for that. And then we find out that they know where they are, so they're coming for them. Um, and then we get our robot fight. Hu Young, who is an architect droid who just builds lightsabers, held his own. I think he held his own. What are your thoughts, Adon?
I thought it was very funny how he got choked up by the other droid, and his first thing was "Help! Help! Help!" I thought that was kind of funny. But no, I mean, clearly he's been training Jedi for thousands of years with how to use lightsabers. So, not shocked to me at all that he held his own a little bit and long enough to, alert Ahsoka and Sabine, even if it was by accident. So, I thought it was great. It was kind of reminded me of like back in the day when you had the little robots on that. I forget what it was called, but it was like a little square that you had two robots be punching each other. You had the little controls.
Robot.
Yes,
Yep.
they reminded me of that.
Rockin'
Yes,
robots.
yeah, I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, it reminded me of that immediately when they were punching each other. I thought that was kind of funny.
That is funny. Oh my god. I did like that he used his little shoulder hands. We did get to see his shoulder hands when he was teaching Sabine how to do lightsaber battles. He had those little sticks on his shoulder hands, and he used his shoulder hands to kind of beat up this guy, and also destroy the ship a little bit so that they know that something's happening. And then Ahsoka and Sabine came out, and then all hell broke loose, and it was a really, really cool fight. One of my favorite parts of the fights that I thought was amazing was when Ahsoka uses the Force to pull a guy in front of the shooting and then tosses him like nothing.
That was dope.
That was a dope move. That was pretty badass.
Yeah.
What was your thought, Rosie?
I really liked the seamless fight once Sabine and Ahsoka came out and they started fighting together. Like it was pretty seamless. It's like they've done this before. It almost gave you like callbacks to like the Avengers first movie vibe, like where you had like, Iron Man shooting off of Captain America's shield to hit somebody else. It was like that kind of like energy and kind of like flow like in fighting. That was pretty dope. I really enjoyed that. And when Hu Yang said that they have that they need to fight together, that you're stronger when you do so, I think that was pretty telling because it was definitely some foreshadowing for later on in the episode.
Yeah, stronger together. That's the motto of New Jersey, actually. Adom, what were your thoughts about the fight?
I thought it was fantastic, and I love the fact that as soon as the power went out, Sabine was all like, "Oh, stupid droid," and Ahsoka's like, "No, let's go handle this." Like she was she was all business. I thought that was great, and it's to your point about Neves when Ahsoka dragged the droid in front and then pushed him back. Like Ahsoka, in my opinion, has really held back in the times we've seen her and how powerful she is. Mm-hmm. And I really liked how this episode kind of dabbled into that because she has really not shown how much she can actually use, whether it's in a lightsaber battle or if it's using the Force. Right. She's very reserved, and I think that's pretty awesome because she's definitely got plenty of reserves.
Yeah. No, that's really, really cool. Also, like Sabine's just. It's apparent that she's better with a blaster than she is with a lightsaber. So we got to see that, and we got to see her old blasters from the Rebels. We got to see her pop those out, which was really, really cool. The other thing that we thought was pretty cool, we go over to Hera, and Hera's like, "Fuck them rules. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come, and I'm gonna save the day." And she's like, "Once a rebel, always a rebel." And I like, chills, literal chills. Love it. And she's bringing her son Jason, which is going to be exciting. Will Jason have some Force powers? We don't know. We'll see. He is wearing his dad insignia on him, which I thought was really, really cool. I thought that was pretty dope. We also saw Carson, some familiar faces when it comes to the other people who were joining Hera on this little adventure. I don't know. What did you think about Hera's decision to come join the fight? Ruzzy, you want to go first?
No surprise there. I mean, once a rebel, always a rebel. And, it's in her nature. I mean, this is what they've been doing for so long. I mean, that's all she's ever known. And the fact that she brought her son was, I think it was, as a parent is really interesting. I mean, I feel like I would not do that, but at the same time, I think it's a way for her to both teach him about like, this is what mommy does. right?
Mm.
And right, like this is the equivalent of bring your kid to work day, right? This is exactly that. And I think like he got a little scared like throughout like the course of like their journey over, and you could tell that. I mean, I hope we see a little bit more of Jason in the show. And I really just want a lot of depth to these characters. I mean, I think they're just so rich as it is. Give us like an hour long show or plus. I mean, I think and more episodes. So I'm excited that this is a little bit longer of a series, but yeah, it's let's follow Mama Hera.
Totally agree. The other thing is, I was gonna say, when Ahsoka, Sabine, Marok, and Shiv are fighting, that's another fight that was pretty badass. What are your thoughts about that one? Adam, you want to go
That
for that one?
was oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. To me, it was a little reminiscent of what happens near the end of Revenge of the Sith when Yoda is fighting Palpatine and Obi-Wan is fighting Anakin, because the two battles were kind of split in two. And I really loved how the way that Ahsoka just totally dismantled Marok after he turned. I thought he was going to go into full lightsaber helicopter mode, and they stopped it from happening. And
Yeah.
it's totally just Obi-Wan him. I mean, with the way that he killed Darth Maul just one six stroke. And they put all of the conspiracy theorists to rest about who Marok is. He's just
Gas.
dark magic. No, he's dark magic from Morgan Elsbeth. I mean, just complete. The witchcraft. They completely just went with that. He totally just went up in smoke. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Speaking of smoke, that's who a lot of people thought he was. They thought he was Smoke. They thought he was Starkiller. They thought he was Ezra. There were so many theories, and they were all like wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a smoke monster from Lost. Like he's just nothing. Rezi, what are your thoughts about the fight?
Yeah, I think they definitely snuffed out all the conspiracy theorists or fan theories pretty quickly. It was a dope fight, though. I mean, it was some sweet moves, and also like having Sabine Ahsoka and Marok on one side, and then Sabine and Satya on the other side. That was just like a really cool battle scene to kind of see happen. But also for Sabine, like once she got like basically literally stripped of her Mandalorian armor and gadgetry, she had to rely on her lightsaber, and she held her own. So it was cool stuff.
Yeah, I want to share some of these comments because some of these comments are insane right now.
Bring it on.
So, MTF is like, they were the deleted scenes of Cara Dune declining Carson Zero's request because vaccinations were required. For those of you that don't know, Cara Dune's character was removed from the show because she didn't want to get vaccinations. The other one, this one I really like. Marok went from wanting smoke to becoming smoke. He will be missed. M-I-S-T. He will be missed. Bro, you need to write comedy, Michael. These are some solid comments.
Gems.
Gems right here. All right. So Ahsoka tells Sabine tells Ahsoka, hey, I got this. Go get the map. And Ahsoka runs to go get the map. And then Sabine and I believe the crazy white girl Jedi who has that crazy look in her eye is fighting, and it was a really, really cool fight. And you see where she tries to use the Force. She goes, you have no power. And she uses her Mandalorian weapons and basically, wins. And then she ends up coming there first because she uses like a smoke bomb. And Ahsoka is convinced that Sabine didn't make it, which I thought was, pretty interesting. And then Sabine shows up a little bit after. And then the whole thing was just like a lot of anticipation, a lot of built up drama. I thought it was really, really cool. But I think the person who stole the show was Lord Balin. Like he just stole every scene he was in, the line delivery, the way he was blocking the shots with his swords, just everything was perfection. I just loved it. Ahsoka vs. Sabine, definitely my favorite part of the show so far. Rezi, what are your thoughts on that?
Uh, we've said this once and we'll say it again. Rest in peace to Ray Stevenson. I mean, he's a
Yes.
legend. Like he totally gave it his all in this show. And when Lady Morgan says, "Is that a note of fear in your voice?" and then he just replies one word, "Experience."
Oh, so
I
good.
mean, it's just like his deliveries. I mean, and then later on, she asks him about faith. He's like, I lost that a long time ago. I mean, I think just like the way that he just speaks so stoically and he's like very regal.
Yeah.
It's it's fascinating. I really like his character. I want more. I want
I
more.
want more too. I want a backstory and everything, even if they have to, switch actors and stuff like that, get a younger person to do a prequel. I would really like to know what happened. It's really amazing. Um,
Yeah.
I also like the fact that he says Anakin spoke highly of you, which
Yeah.
is like he has some experience with Anakin. Him and Anakin know
Hmm.
each other. Not too many have been alive to know what he has become. I thought that was wild. Adome, what are your thoughts?
So when Ray Stevenson was first cast in the show, I actually thought that he was going to be like a version of Darth Sabayoth, who's one of the villains in the Heir to the Empire books. And I have to say, given the scenes that he's been in so far, I'm actually glad that they did not go that route because the character they've created for Ray, I mean, rest in peace, he's awesome. He's almost like the version of Dooku that I wish I had in some of the movies in Clone Wars,
Mm,
where he's just
Mm.
he's just better, like overall. Like, and the fact that, as Razi said, like as soon as he saw Ahsoka show up, he's just first words out of his mouth, Anakin spoke highly of you. It's just like throwing mental barbs at her even before the fight even
yeah.
starts.
Yeah.
And what I was really struck by the fact that, you know, when they're going to fight, Ahsoka ignites her lightsaber first, and she doesn't ignite her second one because she realizes, like, hey, this dude is a lot bigger and stronger than I am. I need to have all my momentum behind one blade versus two.
Hmm.
Oh, good
And
point.
it didn't even work because she ended up picking up the map at one point, and then she couldn't use her other hand, and that's why she got beat. I thought he was just totally overpowered her and just dominated her. And we haven't really ever seen Ahsoka really lose a battle. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've ever seen her
Yeah.
lose a battle like that, and that was a little shocking to me.
That was a little shocking. We got some comments right now. Michael says that I love Balon because he doesn't seem evil, just focused on the task at hand and willing to do whatever it takes. And I love the fact that when she asked him, he was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just here to secure the future." Like, oh, bro, what does that mean? What does
What does
that
that
mean?
mean?
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I want to know what his motives are. And Michael also says, "I love Ahsoka's response that, yeah, Anakin never spoke of him." That's pretty
Yeah, that's
good.
true.
The shade, the shade.
So much shade.
It's like you ever go to a friend and be like, oh yeah, this person spoke of you, like, oh, interesting, he never spoke of you. Like, yeah, it's so salty.
All the
Uh,
time. All the
I
time.
love it. I love it. But Ahsoka does find Sabine when she comes there and tells her to destroy the map. And she does not. She does not destroy the map because destroying the map would mean never seeing Ezra again. So I thought that was really interesting. What would you guys have done in her place? Would you have destroyed the map? Would you have kept it? Got to see your homie? I don't know. It's a very Sophie's choice type of situation. Uh, Resi, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's, defeating Thrawn and not seeing a dome again. Sorry, Dome.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there because I was going to too. So go ahead, leave me off in the out in the abyss. Go ahead.
You can handle yourself. You can handle yourself. Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's funny because like they definitely foreshadowed this early on. When Ahsoka said to Sabine, "Can I count on you?" And that's literally exactly what Ezra said to Sabine. "I'm counting on you." Like it's like a repeated thing that's
Yeah,
being said to Sabine, and I don't think she realized kind of the weight of a big decision like these. And I think I hope that through the course of the show that she does get to the point of growth where she is able to make a big decision that could potentially jeopardize others, but secure the future, save the galaxy, make the major sacrifice, the big sacrifice play, that the billionaire playboy philanthropist can't make, right? So I think it was, I feel for her though, so I think that also makes her like a pretty sympathetic character, because it's tough. I mean, like that's like her only family, and she stated that repeatedly as well. So it's a tough choice.
Mm. Dome, what's your choice?
So shout out to Kareem, who was on here last time with us, and his jokes about why do Jedi, you know, get divorced and all that stuff. So I have a little bit of a barb. So why are Jedi simps?
Why?
Because they
Why?
can't form attachments, bro. So
Uh,
so to me, this is all about that because Sabine clearly has an attachment to Ezra, and I
Yeah.
think they haven't alluded to it yet, but I think this is a big reason why Ahsoka couldn't finish her training, and I think they sort of touched on it with the background of the Mandalore stuff. But I really like the fact that we've been waiting for more backstory on why Ahsoka and Sabine kind of split ways, and this is really touching on it. And I love the fact that it was in the middle of a heated moment where there's literally this big dark Jedi looming over. It's like, make the hard choice, and it's like, no,
yeah.
I'm just gonna hold it down. And Sabine literally watched Ahsoka get struck down and fall off a cliff, and just kind of stood there. And that to me was like, are you really have an attachment to Ezra and finding like a sense of belonging and stuff like that? So that was kind of powerful to me.
Yeah. And speaking of the history behind Sabine and Ahsoka, they did mention that they were together when all her family died on Mandalore and when Mandalore was destroyed. I thought that was interesting, and that might have caused a rift between them. That was a little nugget of information that was just thrown in
Yeah, it
randomly, and I
was.
was like, "Whoa, that's we need more backstory on that."
And you have to wonder, like, does Sabine know Ahsoka's full history? Because if you remember at the end of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka was on Mandalore when the siege was finished. I mean, they locked them all up and they left, and then Order 66 happened right away. I'm very interested to know if Sabine and Ahsoka had talked about that, because that's obviously a big thing of tension, because it probably would have been like, why could you have done more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael in the comments says pretty much the same thing. He says, I love that in a way because it validates the Jedi's ideas about attachment being a path to downfall.
No
That's
pun
kind of what
intended.
happened. Yeah,
Yep.
no pun intended. I thought that was funny. But Balin decides to give Sabine a ultimatum, and Sabine takes it.
Yeah.
Sabine takes it willingly. Willingly, she takes it, which is wild. And they put her in these cuffs. But before that, Shin's like, "Yo, let me get one more, let me get one more lick off this bitch right here." And he tries to, and she tries to fight her, and then Balin's like, "No, no, let her go. I'm a man of my word." Just like Rosie said, he is a regal person. He is a man of his word. He did not lie. So that was pretty interesting. So at this point, the computer over by General Morgan is calculating the route. And I always wonder how like light speed works. Like light speed doesn't turn you into atoms or anything. It just makes you go at light speed. So if anything's in your way, it would blow up or be destroyed and stuff like that. So they would have to do these super computer calculations to figure out the route that they should take so that there's nothing in their way as they're going through light speed. And these calculations take a lot of time. So they're downloading all these calculations through this map, which is even more complicated than normal because it's in a galaxy far away. As they're doing this, Balin puts the map back in the position, and they get the full coordinates. But at this time, Hera shows up, and the ring decides to turn on, and they bring Balin, Sabine, and Shin back to the ship, and they go. And as they're going through it, the thing happens to have a hole because it's a ring, and you see all these ships having like being destroyed and having destruction done upon them as the ring goes into light speed. I thought that was really cool. What are your thoughts on that? Adom, you want to go first?
Yeah, it was shades of kind of like the reverse Haldo maneuver from The Last Jedi, where they're like, all right,
Yes.
there's shit in my way. I'm just gonna go ahead and blast through it anyway. I love the fact that We finally got a little bit of X-wing action, and to your
Mm.
point earlier about Jason, I'd gone back and watched some various parts of Rebels. At the end of Endor, Hera was flying around with Jason in the cockpit, so this wasn't his first go around, like being around there. But he was kind of like, he almost said I had a bad feeling about this, and so that was kind of like, all right,
which
you
is
might
a
be
Star Wars thing. Every Star Wars
Right.
show or movie has that line.
Right, and of course, we lost a couple of X-wing pilots. Of course, the black guy had to die, which I was just like, come on, bro,
Come on, bro,
what the fuck the hell. But no, I mean, Carson's okay, and I have to say, I was a little disappointed that Zeb was not with them, because in Mandalorian, he was hanging out with Carson Teva at that base with Rogue Squadron, and he wasn't there, so I was very disappointed with that. So who the hell knows where Zeb is at the moment? But no, I thought it was a really good way to show the force of Lightspeed, and also to your point about how much time it takes just to calculate a route. We don't really know where you're going, because most of the time when they're making jumps, it's all right, we're going to go here. Let's see, 10 parsecs away or whatever. But this was a very different kind of a jump, so I really like that. And then one more thing, going back to before they actually got onto the ring, when Ahsoka picked up the map, the dark magic really messed her up.
Yeah.
And basically made her hand useless. Balin didn't even flinch. He just picked that shit up and was just like, it's done. It's over. I thought that was really interesting too, because you would have thought that, okay, Ahsoka's got all these force reserves, that should protect her from it, and it didn't at all. I mean, her left hand was basically useless after she touched it.
It's kind of like in the Infinity Stones in the Marvel shows. Like, Thanos can pick it up, but other people can't, right? They don't have the powers. It's one of those things. Yeah, it's really cool. One thing that I really love, one of my favorite things about this episode, when, we know that Ahsoka fell off that cliff, and they show us the cliff, and they just show us waves and waves and waves, and those waves slowly transitioned into these like sparkly stars, and then we see Ahsoka just there on the floor. Beautiful transition. It was so gorgeous. I love that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It was dope. I hadn't seen anything like that before, and it was really beautiful. And to take us to a place that, for those who have seen the shows, know but don't really know much about, I think it was pretty cool. It was very, very cool. So I think this is a place of discovery for both fans of the show and fans of the Ahsoka show. It's really exciting stuff.
Adon, what were your thoughts when you saw Ahsoka in the ancestral plane or whatever? The world between
ancestral plane.
It's a good analogy. I really like that. I like that.
Yeah.
She saw her, her master when she was in there. I thought it was, as you said, it was probably the most beautiful Star Wars transition that's ever happened. I can't think of a better one so far with it. And I love the fact that, when she stood up, there didn't appear to be anybody behind her. Nope. And then she kind of realized where she was, and then you heard Anakin say, "Hello, Snips," and then he said, "I didn't expect to see you here by now." And if you remember back to when they showed the World Between Worlds and Rebels, the Emperor was not inside of there. He was just like reaching into the portal with Force lightning and stuff. So I also wonder, like, is Anakin actually in there, or is he projecting himself in there, like Luke was projecting himself in The Last Jedi? There's so many questions about this version of Anakin and what is actually happening there. Because if you actually go back and look, I think Ahsoka actually part of her died during the Clone Wars when they were with the family of Mortis. Part of herself had died, and so in Rebels when she fought Vader, I think a part of herself also died. That's why she was in the World Between Worlds. So you have to ask yourself: is Ahsoka losing part of herself by being in there again? I don't know. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, how is she going to get out?
Yeah.
How is she going to get out? And is she going to just maybe hyperdrive that? And just go to another, the part of the galaxy where Thrawn and Ezra are. Who knows? Because we don't know how this World Between Worlds works, and it's gonna be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. I do want to fill in some of our audience who may not have watched Rebels. So the World Between Worlds is basically this kind of plane of existence that is between time and space, basically, right? And we see in Rebels Ezra go through this. A wolf comes to Ezra, and I believe the wolf had the same markings as Kanan, which is one of the things that people speculated about. And then he followed these like wolves and these paintings, and he went through this wall, which ended up being the World Between Worlds. And he saw the fight that Ahsoka and Anakin were having, and he pulled out Ahsoka, saving her. So in Star Wars, time isn't like the multiverse where you change something in time, and it branches off and makes a new timeline. In Star Wars, from what I believe, it was always meant to happen. Right? It's kind of like 12 Monkeys or one of those other kind of time travel movies where, like, if something happens, someone goes back in time and saves somebody, they are always meant to go back in time and save somebody. It's kind of like one of those situations. Now, the Mortis, if you have not watched, I believe, Clone Wars, they're kind of like a holy trinity. There is like the main god and the daughter and the son, the father, the daughter, and the son. The daughter is the light side, and the son, I believe, is the dark side. And I believe the daughter had given some of her energy to Ahsoka to save her life. And that may be why she's been in there twice. I don't know. It could be a partial reason. But yes, all of this happens in Clone Wars and Rebels. If you have not seen it, I recommend it. It does take a while to get into Clone Wars. The animation is a little, I don't know. It was early 2000s, so the animation is a little rough, but it gets better. And they have this amazing last season, which they brought back a year ago.
Good.
So good. And then
Really
after
good.
that, there's Rebels, which takes place like right before episode 1 of the Star Wars movies. No, sorry, I'm mistaken. Not episode 1,
Four.
episode 4.
Episode four.
The first one that came out. And it kind of explains like who the rebels are. And it's really, really cool. Really enjoy that but this is the short version of it for those of you that have not seen it. But something about, Balin knowing about Anakin, I don't know. I don't know what exactly is going on there. It's very, very interesting. If he knows about the Mortis, if he knows about this world, or it's just all a coincidence. And one of the biggest theories right now that everyone's going is, which version of Anakin is this? Is this the version of Anakin who already died and he just comes back in front of Ahsoka in the form that she knows best? Because I did not see a scar, and Anakin,
I didn't either.
I didn't see a scar, and ever since Ahsoka knew him, I believe he had a scar. So, his scar is healed, so this might be the best version of him. I don't know. It's very interesting if this is somebody who was around the time he was training her, and he got pulled into something and then got put back into place and forgot everything that happened. We don't know. It's going to be very interesting. Do you guys have theories?
No. Short answer, no. I'm just in it for the ride. I think, like, I hadn't given it much thought because I just wasn't expecting it, right? And I think when you kind of like get the little threads of a thing, then you could like pull at it, and then it becomes that, the fan theory. But I think for this, I just wasn't expecting at all. I wasn't expecting the world between worlds. So those are things that were just thrown at me in a way that I just had not expected. And also for the two to be mashed up together, for Anakin to be in the world between worlds, like what? I mean, that was not like how I would expect maybe Ezra, right? Because we have seen him there. I would expect maybe hearing I would say Palpatine like cackling on the side somewhere, but like this was just so unexpected.
Somehow Palpatine returned into the world within worlds.
Yeah, just cackling away. But yeah, I mean, I would say like which version this one is. I mean, he obviously knows her, right? So, but like to your point, Neebs, like, yeah, he's always had a scar in the shows. So I don't know. Let's see where this goes. I'm excited. I like not knowing. That's actually that's the joy about it.
That is the fun part. What about you?
So a couple things. I don't know if you guys saw, but Star Wars is their Instagram account in Ahsoka. They posted that next week's episode, they're actually, one, it's directed by Filoni, and two, they're showing it in theaters.
Wow.
Which is crazy to me, because if they show it in theaters and there's not a Clone Wars flashback where Ewan, Hayden, and Rosario Dawson are not together, like, people should riot it, because totally wasted opportunity. So I think that the fact that they're going to let this 45-minute episode, whatever it is, be released in theaters next week is crazy to me.
Is it on AMC? Like, where can we find it? Because I gotta watch this in theaters with people.
Yeah, just go on the Ahsoka Instagram, and there's a link that'll show you like where you can see it. I looked around; there's not one near us here. I'm really annoyed.
Yeah, because we'd be going to that.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so
I wish I had a girlfriend. I would make her go. That's the only reason I wish I had a girlfriend. No other reason.
Yeah.
Just watch Star Wars with me, please.
Drag her. No, that's real talk. That's my wife and I started dating in 2015. This is a short personal tangent. She had never seen anything, and I was like, "All right, your previous boyfriends have failed you." But secondly, we started dating in like October. I made her watch all the movies, and then Force Awakens was the first time she saw a Star Wars movie in theaters.
Yeah.
So like, it's you never know. The Force works in mysterious ways.
The Force works.
Yeah. But with the Anakin thing, I don't know, man. I'm kind of with Razi. I'm a little intrigued, and I'm actually kind of glad that we don't know, that we can just sit here and kind of do conspiracy theories about why he's in there, and two, which version of this is in there. Because there's a version of The Last Jedi where Hayden is Anakin Skywalker at the end, and they swapped out the older actor.
Right.
So like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to do that again. I'm not sure, but I'm kind of nerdily fixated on the fact that when you look at his lightsaber, it does not look familiar.
Very.
So I'm interested to see, like, is this a different version of him, and the lightsaber is red and he's already Darth Vader? And I mean, the other question is like, okay, does Anakin know that he's going to be a father, like this version of him? Because is he already down this like fear of loss path, or does he not have any idea? So there's lots of questions.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I would very much like to know that, because in this situation, Ahsoka has met Luke already.
Yes. Very good point.
That would be very, very cool. I don't know, man. But like, on a meta level, it's just amazing to see Hayden Christensen just like, in live action one more time. Like, we saw him in Obi-Wan. But his face was covered most of the time. But like, we got to see him as Annie. Like, we got to see him as Sky Guy. Like, I don't know, man. Something about it just makes me feel like something in my heart. Like, just the fact that he calls her Snips, which is her nickname, like, it's nostalgia, but like, it makes me so happy. It does make me happy. Very few things make me feel this way, and Star Wars is definitely one of them. Especially when you grow up with so many generations of Star Wars fans. It's one of the things where, like, there's kids right now just getting into Star Wars, and there's people that are going into retirement that are into Star Wars. It's such a huge, like, range of people that just love this stuff. And this is one of the episodes that reminds you why Star Wars is amazing. I don't know. It's going to be hard to top this one for me, but if next week it's going to be in a theater and I get to go to a theater and watch it live with like Star Wars fans, like, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I am going to be obnoxious because I'm going to be so happy and screaming. It's going to be a Marvel moment. So I'm super excited. Any other thoughts that you guys have before we wrap up?
I just think that. Oh no, go ahead, Razi. Go ahead.
I would just say I looked at all the shows and they're all full.
Damn.
Like, there's one in DC and everything has joined the wait list. So I hope they open up more shows, because clearly there's a desire to go. I mean, people want to see Star Wars in theater. Theater.
Shut up and take my money. We love the
shows. Exactly. We love the shows, but like, seeing it in the big screen is very special, and to have the treat to see a Star Wars show like that is going to be a special experience for all those who are able to do that.
And I've done that before with Doctor Who. Like, I watched one of those Doctor Who specials in a theater full of Doctor Who fans. Let me tell you, it's an experience. It's amazing. Like, people cheer, people gasp, there's goosebumps, chills, literal chills. Like, it's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that. Dylan, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, so a couple things. So, seeing Star Wars in the theater is, I don't really consider myself a religious person, but I consider, like the feeling you get when you're with other people that have a shared love of something, and you just have faith and belief in it. It's powerful, right? That's why you go to the theater. I mean, like with the Marvel movies, Rozzy knows this. We've been to plenty of the opening nights. Like, you don't want to miss opening night because the energy is just totally different when you go a separate time. Like,
Yes.
I think I saw the first Black Panther 3 times in theaters. Like, the first night it came out, and I took my parents, and I went again with my wife's parents. And like, I went with my wife's parents maybe like 3 weeks after the movie had come out, and the energy was totally different in the theater. Like,
Right.
nobody was dressed up. It's just so, like, with Star Wars, like, I think this episode of Ahsoka has been the best Star Wars TV episode so far that's come out. I'm hoping next week tops it, but at this point, there's no question that this one's been the best so far. And I really hope that there is more flashbacks. I mean, there's a reason why you ask Hayden to come back and do a couple things in Obi-Wan, and then here you bring it back as a teaser at the end. There has to be more. And so, I'm hoping for a lot more Clone Wars action.
Yeah.
In the flashbacks.
I mean, he's on the promo materials. Like, look at
this. They didn't wait. It was like hours, and they put him up. Yeah, he's right there. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm really looking forward to that. It's really cool. And like you said, man, Star Wars is definitely a cool thing to share with people. I'm surprised that this show got so much like bad reviews when it first came out. Like, I feel like I hope those people are eating their words because I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely up there. I may even like it in the last season of Mandalorian so far. I think this is coming out solid. Can they stick the landing? We don't know, but I really hope so. And
I love the fact that they're like using Mandalorian and Ahsoka to explore this period of Star Wars lore after Return of the Jedi, where there's been books written and there's all this stuff. And I don't know, I kind of feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities with the 7, 8, 9, and I think they're not really purposefully trying to correct it, but they're definitely listening to what people want, and they're exploring in a very, I would say, deliberate and meticulous way they're writing these storylines. And the fact that they're using Ahsoka to do this is awesome.
Speaking of that, they even mention Thrawn as the heir to the Empire, which is one of the books, right? Yeah. Really cool callback, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And I really hope we get more than just one episode of Thrawn because I want to see Thrawn in live action in all his glory. I think that'll be really, really cool. All right, guys, that's literally all I have for this episode. Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully we'll have you guys back. MTF, drop your email in my DMs and we'll have you on the show too, man. You're dropping all of these gems in the comments. Let's have you on the show, man. Come up here. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining us. Sorry we were a little bit late. We aired at 11 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. this time. But we want to make sure Rezzy is safe. Rezzy, get home safe.
Get home safely, man.
Get home safe, bro. And may the force be with you. You should just
be with you.
Yeah, just walk around and be like, I am one with the force. The force is one with me. Just you won't get shot.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, guys. Salaam, nerds.
All right, guys. See ya.
Peace.